Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Heather and today we are going to talk all about the second house in astrology. So the last video we talked about the first house and how the first house really is like your sense of self, right? Because all the houses are different aspects of our lives. So the first house was the sense of self, and the second house is the support for the self. So it's a more materialistic house. It deals with money and like food, mainly money. Like that's kind of what everybody talks about with the second house, and I'm gonna do the same. Um, but yeah, it's the Taurus ruled areas of life, right? Because for the 12 houses that we have, they correlate to the 12 different zodiac signs. So the first house was Aries, and now the second house is the Taurus areas of life. So they're very much like with the creature comforts, they like good food, very resourceful. Taurus is an earth sign, so just very like grounded and practical. So that's kind of the lens that we want to look at the different planetary placements that you might have as we kind of go down the list. One thing that came up after the last video was somebody said, well, what if I don't have any planets in a certain house? And you are going to have empty planets, right? There's not enough to go around because we do have 12 houses. So I feel like it's kind of, everybody seems like they're in agreement when they just say like, if you have a lot of planetary placements in a house, it seems to be like that's a big focus of your life. There's like a lot of energy going into that different area of life. And then on the flip side, if you don't have any planets in a house, that could just be like, that's not a huge focus in this lifetime for you. Personally, I very much believe in reincarnation. So, like, to me, it's like, you've probably maybe mastered that area in a past life and like you're good with this one that you can kind of focus on other things. So that's really how I view it if you don't have a planet. And I feel like that's kind of like I said, like the general consensus of it's just not like a big aspect of your life. So I do have my paper birth chart because I have not yet figured out how to like load things in. But just in case you missed it, so your rising is at the 9 o'clock. Your first house is like at the 8 o'clock placement. And your second house, so we're going to be looking for this little number 2. It will not focus. There's a little number 2, trust me, it's there. So, and it's more like the 7 o'clock area of your birth chart. And you will see the little number 2. You do need to know the exact time that you were born to get your house placement. So hopefully you're able to get your hands on that. I'm in Utah, and like a long time ago when I had my birth certificate, the time wasn't on it, but I know in Utah anyway, now they do have the time. So a couple years ago, I got a new one just because I was getting an astrology reading done because somebody had told me, well, now they have the times. And that was true for me. So if you don't know your time, maybe see if your state has swapped that over and if now they're putting times on your birth certificate. So, jumping in, let's first start with the sun. If you have the sun in the second house. So the sun is like, it's what we show the world, right? It's very much our sense of purpose. It, being in the second house, it could really, be someone who like, they very much identify with like the job that they have, the title they have, their social status. Like that is very much who they are. They can take great pride in the ability to make a lot of money. And also show what comes from it. Like somebody with the sun in the second house could be, maybe a little bit flashy with their possessions and whatever, good or bad. Like those people are always fun, right? um, so yeah, they could, be a little flashy with the things that they have, but they very much have a confidence in their ability to make money. The sun also is like it represents the father, so maybe somebody with that's been given like generational wealth through their father could have the sun in the second house, and maybe like probably not just that, but like if you have other good placements, that could be like a great indicator for sun in the second house. And I do think that these people could be entrepreneurs. They, are very independent and just kind of want to make money, I would say, on their own terms. And again, they do have that confidence when it comes to making money. Then looking at the moon in the second house. So the sun was what we show the world, right? The moon is more like our inner world. So people with moon in the second house, these people really want that financial stability. Same with the sun and the second house people too. But moon in the second house people would really want that financial stability because like it gives them emotional like stability, right? A good bank account feels safe to them because the moon is our emotions. The moon is very like it's reflective, right? It's kind of like a more pensive energy to it, I would say. So people who have moon in the second house, they could be really like sentimental with their possessions, so they might not be flashy like the sun in the second house people, but really love and like take care of things that have like sentimental value to them. The moon also is cyclical, right? So somebody with this placement, their money could kind of like ebb and flow, which will be very difficult for them with that whole emotional security when it's not coming in so much. And then last thing I want to say about this is the moon rules the home, right? So somebody with the moon in the second house, that could be somebody who like has a home-based business, or maybe they sell real estate, or maybe they build homes. I don't know, but something like it would be very on par for somebody with this placement to make money revolving the home. Okay, next we will talk about Mercury in the second house. So Mercury is it's communication energy, right? And it's also like they kind of like to soak up knowledge and very much of the mind. So somebody who has Mercury in the second house, they could be a great teacher. Because they're stimulating their mind, other people's minds, and they're communicating the information out there. They could also be like an author. They could also they could just like to talk about money, right? So this could be somebody who's a financial advisor. Mercury in the second house, these people can tend to worry about money a little bit. So just kind of something to be aware of if you do have that placement. Okay, next is Venus in the second house. So this is a very positive placement because, as we said, the second house is like the Taurus areas of life, and Venus is the ruler of Taurus. So, Venus, rules like love and beauty. Venus also rules money. So somebody with this placement, they could love to spend their money on very like extravagant things. They could like to, spend money at the spa or pampering themselves, making themselves feel beautiful. They could also make money by like making others beautiful, right? This could be like a stylist or a hairdresser. This could be an artist, right? To make beautiful art. Maybe they themselves are beautiful and they are a model. So, just a couple ideas for the Venus in the second house placement. They would do well to just not like get carried away with spending too much on these nice items. Don't overspend on impractical things, would be some advice that people would give for Venus in the second house placements. Okay, so while Venus was a very positive aspect, a more difficult one would be Mars in the second house. So Mars is very like bold and fast moving, right? So somebody with Mars in the second house, they could be a very quick and impulsive spender. Um, it is powerful. Like money very much gives them ambition. So they do have a lot of drive to become materially successful. Um, it it gives them freedom. They see money as freedom. So again, just yeah, there is some good drive there for sure to do well. Um, I was listening to the Astrology podcast, I think is what it's called, with Chris Brennan. And he was saying how Mars, there's like kind of always, well, not always, but there's this thing sometimes with Mars where it's like cutting and severing, right? So he said that sometimes they'll associate Mars in the second house with like getting robbed or, you know, I mean, I'm not saying if you have this that you're like a thief or anything, but like it, there is like kind of some interesting, he had some stories about people who had lost some money when there were certain transits happening when they had their Mars in the second house. So that was kind of interesting. And also too, like, it might be more common for them to have conflict around money, lawsuits, things like that. Maybe I don't know, like maybe they lose a lot in a divorce or something. Sorry, my hair's driving me crazy. I'm gonna stop playing with it. So yeah, that's Mars in the second house. Okay, next is Jupiter. So Jupiter is the great benefic, right? It's very lucky and expansive to everything that it's near and it touches. So lots of people would love to have Jupiter in the second house because it really can be like the highest expression of wealth. And there's a lot of things that go into the chart. So it's not like if you were born with Jupiter in your second house that you just like won the lottery. But it is great. It is really, really good. It's again, it's that lucky energy. So these people, like, they probably can just have like money fall into their lap, or they land like this awesome job. They could just be people who are never like experience like truly being broke. Jupiter is also like education too. So these people could, maybe be in school for a long time. They could be professors. Um, they could spend money too on education. So they could either work in it or they could spend money on their education. They could spend money on experiences. And I would say that they're most likely like very, very generous. Jupiter is very giving. So these are probably pretty generous people. Like with Venus, though, like something, to watch out for is like don't get carried away with it and, just don't overspend. So then, pretty much the opposite energy of Jupiter would be Saturn. So, where Jupiter's like, money grows on trees, Saturn is like very restrictive and like kind of more of a lack type energy when it comes to money. Um, these are like the types of people who grow up thinking that, you got to work real hard for your money and, got to save your money and just money's not easy to come by. And this can be like a blessing and a curse because these people are very frugal. I mean, Saturn is known for like diligence and hard work and stuff. So while my guess is that probably a lot of them would like have to enter into the workforce like at the ground level and like grind their way up. Saturn also rules old age, so like you could retire with a lot of money in the bank, but like you earned every dollar of it, right? So it's a blessing and a curse. Um Probably not the most generous placement would be Saturn in the second house. Again, like they just kind of have that feeling like they need to kind of clutch on to the money. Um, all right, so next is Uranus in the second house. So Uranus is all about like innovation. It's very much the future. It's very shocking and weird. So somebody who has Uranus in the second house, they can get their money in really weird ways. They could have weird jobs. Like these are probably not the accountants in the group, right? They might make money in tech. They might make money in crypto, would be super fitting. Um, they also probably spend their money in weird ways. And this is just like a funny little side thing. The other day I was talking to a friend of mine who buys the weirdest things and like high dollar amount things. And he randomly tells me that he just ordered like $500 worth of hot sauce. And I'm like, oh, wow. And I was thinking, I wonder if you have Uranus in the second house. Because it's like, what a weird thing to spend your money on, right? Like, he's constantly telling me about these things that he buys that are so expensive and so random. So I just think that's kind of like a perfect example of Uranus in the second house. I don't even know if he has it, but just very like unconventional jobs, unconventional spending. Um, but Uranus is it like Mars, where it's like money equals freedom to them. So, um, yeah, even if it does come in weird ways, it is a great like ambition for them to have that freedom. Um, okay, so next is Neptune in the second house. So this is a bit of a challenging placement because Neptune like dissolves the material realm, right? And the second house is the material realm. So it's kind of tough. Um Neptune is like very watery energy. So like these people can't save money very well because their money just kind of comes and goes, right? Like it's there when you need it, but like, you kind of don't have a whole lot like of cushion in the bank. Um, Neptune's a very spiritual planet, so like I think that these people could be great like manifestors of money. Again, like I mean, it might just go after they get it, but I do think that yeah, they could manifest a bit of money with how spiritual Neptune is. All right, and then lastly is Pluto. So Pluto is also can be very much money manifestors. Pluto is kind of known for like it's a planet of big money. It's very powerful. Um, so you just would want to be very careful of your thoughts, and probably with Neptune as well, Neptune and Pluto, you want to be very careful of your thoughts and your words about money, because again, these people are like, they can manifest it. So you want to speak the good things into existence about money. They can become a little obsessed with money if you have Pluto in the second house. It can be used as a form of control. But if you do well with it, if you don't control people, you could really experience some great wealth if you have Pluto in your second house. So that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for being here, for sticking with me. It's really fun to talk about this stuff, and I will start putting together my notes for a third house video. I hope you all have a wonderful week, and I will see you soon.